Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna give people a little bit of time to join, so we're gonna start pretty soon. This is Camilo, by the way. Matt, AJ, I sent you guys invites to join as speakers.
Yeah, I forgot today was a Twitter space. And so if we are starting 2 minutes late, that is my fault. But thank you for tuning in. Uh, I just making sure everyone else is here.
Yeah, we're here. The rest of the team will join eventually. By the way, this is being recorded. I believe we have 1 hour with
Okay,
spaces, so let's just keep that in mind, and then
great.
I think we should just get
Yeah,
started.
let's get started. Um, okay, cool. 1 hour. So uh, let's then dive into where we have gone over the last week. Uh, and for everyone I guess I'm learning this every time. For everyone on Twitter who isn't part of our Discord, my name is AJ, and I am our project manager, product manager, strategy guy, whoever you want to call it. I'm trying to work on the back end to make sure our NFT project and everything is humming. Um, we have also on the line Matt and Camilla. So, guys, please give a quick intro of who you are and your impact on the project.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt. I am the artist and creator of the NFT and both the future animated series.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Camilo, uh, co-founder of the project, along with Matt and AJ. In my role right now, it's partnerships, some of the marketing stuff that we do, and yeah. So let's get this
Cool,
going.
cool. So, the last time we had a Twitter space was 2 weeks ago, and there was probably a large gap between uh, our big talk last week about pirates. So, uh, let's do an update that covers both the last 2 weeks for Twitter to understand where we stand with this project. Uh, so, in the last 2 weeks, we have kicked off work on developing our our season two collection, Space Pirates, and the very long and the short of it is our Space Pirates are the expansion of our play to earn blockchain game where a pirate can be minted and then staked on our own site to steal eggs from the unclaimed egg pool. Uh, if you're not familiar with the eggs of this game, Ziggies are the token that represents the show. Ziggies then generate eggs, which are the utility token of the NFT project. And pirates are the methodology to get that NFT token into the hands of active members of the community. Because every Ziggy generates passive eggs, there's a high chance that some eggs are going to be in cold wallets. Some eggs may be unclaimed forever by investment vaults or people who just bought a Ziggy and put it away somewhere. A pirate is the way that we can allow community members who want to collect those eggs and have that Dino Babies in Space utility be able to steal from the unclaimed pool where other people may have their eggs. Uh, we are doing that because it's fun, it makes activity, but it also does help consolidate our activity to the most active members of the community. Pirates work has started, and we are looking at 8,888 pirates. And there's going to be two ways you can mint pirates. One, you can use dino eggs, and we're going to be having the cost of a pirate will be 28 eggs, which means for most people who have held a Ziggy, you'll be able to buy just under two pirates. And we're going to have about 3,500 pirates be held away for minting with dino eggs. If anyone's doing quick math in the chat, that actually is more egg cost than eggs currently exist. And that is a strategy because we want to uh, see eggs recycle around the system. And we don't expect all pirates to be minted out from just the uh, egg pool anytime soon. We are hoping that by having pirates, it's a virtuous cycle where you'll acquire pirates, then you'll stake pirates, then you'll steal eggs, then you'll buy more pirates. It's kind of a rewarding system akin to a wolf game or a little bit of a cat and mouse game, but the idea being that you have that type of world. Uh, we're hoping and we're targeting mid-February. My thought would have been it's a great Valentine's Day present. We'll have more updates on that point probably closer to maybe next week and a little bit early into February. We'll know how we stand on being able to release that. But there's a really cool other part about this if you don't really care about a play to earn game. It is the amount of creativity that's going into pirates. And I don't know if we've shared a couple of pirate novelty on our Twitter yet, but I'll let Matt talk about what's really cool about the artwork going into pirates.
Yes. So, again, I can't remember if we mentioned this on Twitter last time, but the original idea was using dino eggs. We would have the community vote and choose which of the 5 pirates we were going to base the NFT off of, base the season 2 off of. And I forget who floated the idea, but the idea was floated that what if we try all 5? And the way that we would do that is each character has similar, like they all have the same traits, but the way we set it up on the blockchain, whereas like if one character is stabbed through by a sword, that looks different from the next character, that looks different from the next character, and so on and so on. So like each character, they might share common traits, but they're all going to be completely unique. And it is going to be, at least with everything I've drawn so far, it is going to be insanely cool, and I cannot wait I think we'll probably show at least one sneak peek in the next day or two, for you guys to see some of this stuff. It is very, very unique and cool. Um, those are the that's the big Pirates update.
That is behind that bit. And let's keep it pirates for a second. To reiterate what that means is, while most projects you see that are generatively created are effectively layers of the same silhouette of a character with uh, different clothing or faces or weapons. What we're doing is we're taking that times five, and instead now, uh, your base of the NFT you'll have of a pirate will be one of the five pirate crews, and then unique traits for each individual pirate. Now, the traits will share a common name, but they're hand drawn uniquely for the silhouette of that pirate, which means effectively we're making five NFT projects in this one release. That the math is a little over 300 hand drawn traits will go into this project, which is kind of high for an NFT release, especially one that's still under 10,000 tokens. And we're really excited about how novel this is still in the generative art world, that we're working to make effectively very unique hand drawn traits at such a level of fidelity across multiple characters within one NFT project. And so you get two really cool things we're trying to push for in Pirates. One, we're expanding our play to earn game to a level that many other projects uh, aspire for. And two, we are pushing the NFT trait boundary to a level of fidelity that is clearly more effort and more, let's call it soul, than many projects want to deliver on. We're showing you that we care about this for a long term haul by putting in the work we're trying to put in carrying through for season two. But that is all the updates for Pirates, and I want people to be excited about that. We're really trying to push the envelope here on where Database in Space NFT is going. I do then want to, you know, go back to the core of it all. We are at this point still intrinsically tied to the Dino Babies in Space animated series. And there have been, in the last 2 weeks, some really great uh, progress and steps made towards that being a reality. And don't want to steal all of Matt's thunder. So going back to Matt, uh, he's been trying to sell the show, he's been trying to pitch it. Let's hear where he's been on it.
Yeah, so this week alone was probably like low key one of the most exciting weeks of the whole entire project, including one meeting that we'll talk about with Camilo that is for we may not give too many details, but we had a pitch meeting with a studio or agent every single day this week, and they all were extremely interesting and enlightening and positive. So, like, the doors are opening to us, the pathways are being revealed, and it's really becoming clearer and clearer. Like, it's just up to us to decide which direction we want to take this in. Obviously, there is the one option is the feature, the Hollywood movie pitch that's coming up. That is, I'm extremely excited about that, and I did the practice pitch the other day. I'm going to do another one probably this week. It was extremely helpful. I'm constantly writing, rewriting, thinking how to best present these ideas, so it's really helpful to get up there and like say it out loud. And I'll be doing more of that. And then, I'm still really passionate about the TV show lane too, so we will, kind of like I say, there's no wrong answer, and I actually kind of feel like we are depending which way we go, we're inching towards announcing maybe who we're working with and some of the strategies we're thinking of. I don't think it'll be super soon, but it's starting to become clear how we're going to actually tell you guys about that kind of stuff, and hopefully become a little less secretive about all that aspect of it as well.
I I want to remind you, Matt, many of the people in this Twitter space were not listening last week. So can you give a bit
Oh,
of color
yeah.
about where all this momentum is coming from?
Um, uh, Elaborate a little
Sure.
more.
I
I'm
have
not sure what you mean.
Last week we had a really big surprise from a few conversations, and I just want to make sure you could say it again and not steal it from you.
The movie pitch,
Yes,
right?
the movie pitch, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So,
It's a lot
sorry.
easier if you just say movie.
Yeah, so that was like this huge, mind-blowing update is that I went in for a pitch with a major studio and they actually brought it up to me. They're like, "Are you interested in pitching this as a feature film? Like a movie in movie theaters, animated movie?" And of course the answer is yes. Um, but just that they offered that to us was really, really exciting, and I think speaks to the potential of the project. Obviously, just being asked that is not a sure thing. I'm working very, very, very hard every single day to like craft a pitch for a feature film that will hopefully blow their minds. Because that is still something they require their minds to be blown. Um, but yeah, it's really, really cool.
And we should also be clear, the group that asked if we're interested in a feature film is also a group that sought Matt out. This is not,
Yes.
we weren't knocking on their door begging to talk about a movie. They called him and they said, "Do you have interest in making a movie?" Meaning, and we've heard this a few times now, multiple Hollywood sourcers and development crews actually are telling when we get introduced, are actually saying they've already heard of us. They've already heard of Dino Babies in Space. And it's wild. That means from effectively it's been 5 weeks since our mint now. Since our mint, we've already actually gotten clout in Hollywood, which is a wild thing to think about. Um, I'll just say, I'll be clear. When we first started talking about using NFT as a way to fund a real show, we thought we're going to have to uh, it's going to be a real risk because it's going to take 6+ months to have any good news on a show, and there's going to be a lot of dead air between mint and actually getting any progress. It's only been 3 weeks since you know the new year and businesses are actually open and trying to fill budget, and we're getting meetings every day, and every meeting is going well. They are excited. They know us already. They want to talk about the progress of the idea. So I say we are making what 6 months time would have been in weeks instead of months. Matt, would you say that makes sense
Yeah,
too?
it absolutely, and it's so far beyond what I could have even hoped. Like exactly like what you're just saying. Hollywood is not a fast-moving place unless you are a big name. And the fact that we're moving this fast is really, really cool, and I really hope speaks to the potential of us and what's coming up next.
Yeah. Um, I I'll let you decide where when you want to talk about our pitch strategy and where that's going. But it, in my in my opinion, as long as we're not name dropping the groups that we're uh, trying to talk and negotiate with, we probably could share a little bit of anonymously about where we're trying to approach the pitch.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready
Okay,
to
sure,
talk about that yet, but like I said, I think it is becoming
sure.
a reality that in the next, it would be great if it was next week. I'm not entirely sure it will be,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
We can say it's gonna be soon.
Yeah.
yeah, it especially like there's this one avenue we're exploring that is very, very promising, and if that happens, I think we'll be able to give you guys a lot of information. I know that's just like the ultimate teaser,
It
but
it feels
yeah,
it feels rough that we've been teasing you for 4 weeks now. You being
yeah,
the audience member that, hey, we have things are happening, trust us. And in the NFT space, there's a lot of instability because everyone's trying to do something big. It's we want to be really clear that very soon we will have tangible evidence that we are really making progress instead of just telling you, hey, this is really cool. But I just want to let everyone know that, I mean, we are making months of progress in weeks, and we will be able to hopefully show not only some real information about how this is going and where the pitch has gone and why we're doing it, but also break down contracts that we may be signing, and so that the DAO, as a producing member of the team, is able to see and sign on what we're activating on. And we're hoping that we'll have really great stuff, if not in 1 week in a few, just in time with Pirates as well.
yep,
I think it's worth mentioning also that once we're able to disclose some of these information, um, our holders, our followers will get a better understanding of maybe why we cannot disclose all this, um, and also they'll understand the amount of work that it's been going on in this past 3 weeks and a half,
Yeah,
4 weeks. I think it's really hard to put it in words and in a way that people understand, but there is so much going on right now. You guys don't imagine, and having like Matt mentioned, having a meeting with a studio or an agent every week, every day of the week, that's like major. That's major in the industry. So
yeah,
just keep that in mind.
yeah. And the industry's so small, so effectively meeting everybody you can in a week, you've already met half the community. But it's pretty wild. Uh, but let's also then go back to what value we've been working on as a utility for our holders of Ziggy's and Dino eggs. I'll jump to Camille in a second because I think we have some really great partnerships that should anchor this conversation. But in a small update about our DAO, uh, we've we've put our monthly royalties at, so our DAO is now above 100 Ethereum, and we are hoping for the next payment in 3 or 4 weeks from OpenSea. In that time period, we have modernized our voting process to follow effectively how parliamentary procedures go in drafting a bill, approving the bill, voting on the bill, and then ratifying the bill. So it's a 4 step process now. So it's a little bit more bureaucratic. But in that methodology, we have already confirmed 7 proposals and rejected 3. And you can see all that progress on our Discord under the proposal talk and proposal archive channels. But just this week, we have agreed to purchase an Alien Friends NFT. We have agreed to dedicate some of that money in our DAO to funding and investing in other media NFT projects. We have agreed to start making contests with Dino eggs as an incentive methodology as well. And we have even gone as far as to uh, we are now also structuring and reforming some metadata to be more appealing to our uh, pitch receivers, to the children's studios that want to interact with us. So the DAO is making big changes across both Discord and NFT project. And soon after we get into production, we'll probably see some requests from Matt about how to change or address the show and have the DAO be involved as a producer in those elements as well. So many groups talk about having a DAO, and many groups will say, here's an investment DAO. What I can tell you is the amount of involvement and the amount of creativity that is being effectuated and enabled through our DAO process is still highest standard. We are letting members who hold a Ziggy influence everything from the metadata of the NFT project to the strategies that go into our spending of the DAO's money to creating new project initiatives within that system. And our first project, our first proposal ever that passed was was the DAO wanted us to hire marketing team members. So in the last 2 weeks, I have been interviewing and talking to marketing agencies about hiring people for public relations and for social media. And I'm feeling pretty confident that we will sign an agreement with one of those groups in the next couple of days, if not next week, so we can start having a stronger marketing presence. And that's mainly influenced because our DAO voted to expand the community engagement in one way, and we're responding as a team saying, if that's what our community wants, we will do it. And so we're hoping to have new onboarded members by the end of this week who will start managing our outwardly facing communications in a much more regularly and let's call it professional standard. But that's not the only part of marketing. I want to draft it back to Camillo to talk about where we've gone as a community and our partnerships that are coming up in the next few weeks.
Sure. So, I mean, the biggest thing that's coming up right now, uh, Kumo's World partnership or collaboration. We are going to have two parts of this collab. One is one of one NFT that we are gifting among each project. Those you will see today. I think right after this AMA, Matt is going to be able to tweet, the final version of the NFT that he created. Also, Kumo's also going to share their one of one NFT that they created for us. And the idea for those is basically we're going to auction it, and each project will just have the earnings go into their community wallets. And along with that, we're going to have um, a competition, tournament, a league, however you want to call it. It's basically some fun time for the members of the project, the community. It's going to be a League of Legends tournament, and we're going to do some giveaways, some prizes as well. And it's something that we're going to see on Twitch. And this is just the beginning of that idea, because the end goal is to actually bring in. Um, we're thinking about 16 projects into a bigger. I don't know if it's a 1 day event, but something that we could call as sort of different in the NFT space. And then yeah, so 16 projects that we're going to be looking for. We already have some in mind, and I believe it's going to be it's going to be great. So that's what's coming for next week. The initial part of that with Kumo's World, and then we are lighting up some AMAs where we're going to be invited to talk about our project. So those announcements will also happen next week, as far as what times and days it's going to happen. And then there is two more marketing related events, partnerships. I do not want to disclose names right now. We're finalizing details. I should be able to disclose those also in this coming week. So I'm excited. I think uh, these two events are going to give us a lot of um, vision and a lot of exposure to the NFT community. So I'm actually really excited for these two to happen. So, like I said, I mean, we'll be going over those next week and posting all the info for the Discord community as well.
And we'll get to hang out with the Kumo team sometime soon, right?
Yes, that is also. Um, it's just a matter of scheduling the AMA, but yeah, we definitely going to have Kumo on the AMA, and then trying to get other projects as well. Maybe we could have a bigger turnout if we can have more projects involved. So the like I said, all the dates and the mechanics of everything we'll post pretty soon once we have the dates finalized.
Awesome. Awesome. I am. I believe that's everything we've done in 2 weeks, and I don't want to sell it short. That's a lot. We have things happening in every direction. We have outside incoming community events. We have large collaborations with larger communities than ours, and we are expanding into the media NFT space to have great talks about how to, make a dent in the media world of an NFT project. We are launching our second collection within the next few weeks. Our second collection is going to have 300 plus generative traits that are all hand drawn by Matt, that are all unique to multiple characters in the same project. That project will have minting of both eggs and Ethereum. And uh, on the home front of the core of why we all are together today, Matt is making inroads at an incredible pace that we're confident we can start talking about some really great progress within a couple of weeks, which was shockingly much faster than we ever expected. So a lot of awesome things are happening across the board, and we're doing these Twitter Spaces now so that uh, we can get questions from the community to understand, you know, where can we help? Where can we be more clear? What do you want to know about this project? Because uh, in our point of view, we are expanding and trying to really make a dent in the system, and we want to know, you know, anything you might have to ask us. So I'm going to open up the call to outside questions, and really anyone who wants to hop in, talk about media NFTs or the Dino Babies project from any direction, please feel free to ask. Our first person is Metal Van. I got that wrong.
I think you can go ahead and talk, unless you have any issues with your. I guess we lost them. Yes, if anybody wants to request to talk or to ask a question, please go ahead.
If
Um,
if you can't hop on a speaker,
one,
if you're a little embarrassed to be on Spaces or have your voice heard, I will be going through our questions channel internally on Discord as well, and I'll be able to answer questions as they're typed in that on that channel.
I just brought someone
Awesome.
else. Maybe he can. Attention to detail, I believe. Attention to details. Can you hear, speak? You're muted right now, but
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Hi.
yes.
Hi, Matt. I wanted to ask you a question. Just in general, like, is there any a certain cartoon that inspired you, like, for this in terms of story wise, or like the type of theme it goes for? Because from what I've seen in your pitch, I kind of got a feel of a bit of Gravity Falls and Adventure Time, also mixed with, like there's it's cartoon, but then there's a serious side of it sometimes, which makes the audience think. Like it's not, it's just funny. Like, is there any specific one that kind of inspired you regarding babies?
I mean, the two you called out are definitely big inspirations. Both Gravity Falls and Adventure Time are really, really influential on me when I was younger. And Avatar: The Last Airbender obviously has to go in there in terms of like dealing with deeper themes and the way they kind of wove bigger story arcs into episodic TV. Is they're still probably maybe the best show that animated show that's ever done that. Um, I think those are really the big three. I'd say like Amazing World with Gumball. I've always really loved. Um, but even just Sponge like early SpongeBob, how absolutely hilarious that was. That is a big inspiration for me. It's like I have to make sure out of all of my talk, everything I say on here, it's like at the end of the day, my real goal is to make something funny that you could still watch 5, 10 years from now and be like, man, that was really good.
Well, that's good. I enjoy that because like I'm actually looking forward to because just from that, the Twitch I saw and how you described the characters and how certain events. I think one of the cleaners, a janitor, how he had a brain. I forgot what it was. Something about, and I was like, wow, that's quite deep. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
interesting. That's the exciting part about it because there's not many cartoons that do that, and I'm actually happy that Dino Babies is going that direction.
I'm so happy you got to see that, and you caught on with to that too.
Definitely, yeah, I'm happy about that. But thank you for answering.
Of course.
If anybody else wants to come up, please go ahead and request, or if you want to ask the questions on the Discord, we have a question channel in there for you guys if you want to do that as well.
And while we're doing that, I will just address a few that are in the question channel. One is from Scotty500. His question's a little nuanced, but the basic question is, uh, what utility does the Dino Egg offer in terms of the DAO's financial componentry? We are been very clear for a long time that uh, the egg is a utility token. It's a governance token. It is not a financial product. So how does a DAO tie into a utility token when the DAO has financial responsibility? It's a really great question, and I am sure probably in the summer or the fall of this year, the U.S. government will have a stronger opinion about it. But for the time being, the way that a DAO can have any financial componentry with a utility token is one, the utility token controls how that money of that company is spent. In the same way, a shareholder can vote on major events within a company. But the difference between this being a share, which is a financial product, and just a voting right, is there is no controlled or guaranteed uh, financial event for that utility token. However, I have already seen from some successful DAOs in the real estate space, they have had dividend payouts let's call them exit events where they have voted collectively as a community to dissolve or empty the DAO out to token holders. Now, the difference between having the community decide when and how to pay out each other is different than having a company that was designed to pay people out. So by design, the DAO does not have an obligation to pay someone out, but if there is a community event that votes, proposes, and passes a payout event, we can honor that, and it still does not make your utility token a share or a financial product. So Scotty's question was nuanced in the regard of asking, can you explain how the DAO's value ties back to Dino eggs? And the answer is twofold. One, you get to control how that money is spent. And two, I have seen DAOs in the past decide how that money is spent as paying back members who hold the token. And so those two methods are probably the most common ways to have a financial association to utility. But truly, the utility of the Dino egg has much more control than just financial implications of the DAO. It's much more than a wallet. As you've seen in Discord, we are voting on changing policies and programs at our company, which is Dino Babies and Space NFT project. The egg has much larger voting share than just how to spend our money, but there can be financial payouts if the community decides to do that. I know that's being ambiguous, but please be aware a lot of my answers have to be protective of the company's status as not a financial services company. So I have to be clear that we are not a financial services company. We are not trying to force a financial value in anything we're doing. We are trying to make a television show and sell it, and from that point, then take that leveraged return and help start a larger boom of NFT projects in the media space. But as a utility token holder, you are now an LP in our entire investment vehicle. And we're excited to have you in. Just going to throw down a few more common questions. So we mentioned earlier that Matt's going to do pretty much a weekly pitch to our Dino holders. We are no longer recording those as part of legal guidance, suggesting that we are pretty much exposing our IP before that IP is secured by doing these pitches. So we are being a bit more secure in making sure there's not a recording online that can be referenced later on about our pitch. Especially as the pitch is evolving, we don't really want our potential partners to be observing a rougher abstract or not complete pitch and making a prejudgment before the finalized version is shown to them. So if you want to see a Dino Babies in Space pitch, please follow us on Discord. We do them weekly, but we cannot record them, at least not at this point, because of the point we are in conversations with our potential partners and even potential buyers. Do we have any other live hands raised?
No, not at the moment. I'm not
Okay,
seeing
cool.
anybody.
Can I ask another
And
question?
I'll keep going off this. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. In terms of the weekly pitch, do you guys have any other protective methods in place? Because it is possible that, let's say, a
Absolutely.
competitor or somebody within the community, they record it
Yep.
or share it or like inside info. Is there any other methods you have in place to protect that from happening?
So the loose answer is we're not giving away the whole story in these pitches. Matt, do you want to talk about how you're covering yourself?
I mean, yeah, I am redacting a lot of the information in there. And like, for me, for the pitch, like, and since you were there, you might have seen this and noticed this at this week's pitch. A lot of the pitch itself is thinking how to say the most important information in the most clear and concise way. So there's, the meat of the show, the meat of the idea is actually not in the pitch. The thing that in my eyes makes it really special and magical, like I've listed the ingredients, but I'm not telling them the secret sauce. And that's in like the writing and the outlines and the overviews that I have already written that I can talk about at length with executives when those conversations arise. But then there's the other aspect of it that it is always possible that would happen. But in that case,
we have an entire community that is aware that like if someone tried to steal it, it's like, we would sue. And I think we would get an entertainment lawyer and proceed down that route, which would obviously suck. But it's just my mentality to not be afraid of that stuff because of the difficulty that there is to create and pitch a really unique project. It's like someone could try and steal it, but it would be so hard for them to then go take it and really do anything else with it. Like even a generic Google search would not only show my name, and they would probably be exposed pretty quickly, but like for someone else to just dive into the world, it would feel like it was written by a completely different person. And it just, yeah, it's just my philosophy to not think that way. And I'd much rather share with you guys than be overly paranoid about that kind of stuff.
And I'm personally excited and looking forward to the moments where we start seeing people copy Dino babies in space.
Exactly.
That says to me there's also a world where we've made enough clout and enough hype that people are trying to ride our coattails. That's wonderful. That shows that we are, a bellwether of this space, and I think that's a really cool point to be. But yeah, we're not doing much more beyond our lawyer's advice for just not making it super easy to steal a business idea. In the end, you can totally find Dino Babies in Space art style on Matt's website, on our website. You can totally copy us if you wanted to. We're hoping that we're moving at such a fast pace that there's not a team that could scale up, steal the name, steal the images, steal the story, and sell it in the time that we can.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a great question.
It is a really good question, and it's something I used to be very paranoid about until I started really pitching and putting decks together. I was like, if someone wants to steal an idea and spend 500 hours adding to it, I guess like they could try that. But at that point, if you're that talented, why wouldn't you just like make something that's more specific to yourself? Like, I hope that answer makes sense. It's like the amount of your own like life force you have to put into making a pitch like this. It's like there's always that outside possibility someone could steal it, but it's just so much work and it's so hard, like, yeah, it's not something I'm terribly worried about.
It's a great question.
Thank you.
A question I see on Discord from a previous connector was actually asking about an upcoming DAO proposal that is about halfway through the progress. There is a concern that because the NFT project is so closely tied to the animated series, and the animated series is for children, that our rarest mouth trait, cigarette, is very problematic or would lead to problematic conversations. Now, legally, NFT is a different entity than the show. NFT is an homage to the show. So we're not in any legal risk with FCC having a NFT have a smoking Ziggy, but we do want to respect that it would make a difficult conversation. So we have a proposal out there to change the cigarette trait to something as unique and rare, but just more family friendly. And the question really is focused not on how we go about that. I love to talk about that methodology, but the question really is, Matt, where's your head at for replacing the cigarette trait, and where are you thinking about going with some designs for that?
Yeah, so that I forget who brought that one up, but that is such a interesting thing to think about. So my take is that the NFT project is completely separate. It's like a completely different canon. It is bought and paid for by adults. But that said, we still do want to be respectful to it. That's just a real thing in the world, and possibly dodge that before it's something that even comes up. So for me, what I'm thinking is like just coming up with a way cooler mouse style, like maybe laser breath, or for me, it probably would be laser breath. Just something really badass that is even cooler than a cigarette. Like, it's not ideal that we would have to change it, but given that we might, as long as we make it awesome, it's not too much of a compromise in my eyes.
That's where my head is at as well. And for anyone who wants to or who shares that opinion, in Discord, in the proposal section, the title of this proposal is called Change Cosmetic Metadata, where we are discussing uh, the proposal to change the cosmetic and the aesthetic parts of the metadata without actually damaging the rarity or the distribution cycles of Ziggies. And we are already in pre-proposal voting, so we'll be in preliminary voting in 2 days. And at that point, we'll probably start talking about some of the designs Matt has for that mouth replacement. If this passes, we'll be aiming to have all this metadata cleared up before Pirate release. And generally, yeah, it's a really great world to be thinking about because we approached it from the opinion that this is different and this is an adult thing compared to the children's show. But we don't want to have those conversations with studio executives if we don't have to. And this is a better way to approach it, in my opinion.
Yeah, or even like, people are very weird about that kind of stuff, and it might be better to just completely dodge even the question being asked. As much as I love that mouse style and I wish we didn't have to change it, just for the future of the project, it might be a really smart thing to do.
Jumping forward, because I know we only have an hour and we're hitting the final 8 minutes. I believe your name is Memento Mori, but you're only M Mori on Dino Baby's Discord these days. Can you tell us what to expect to happen with Dino Baby NFTs in the community after we make a network deal? Yeah, that's the dream. And so where we stand with this is as a limited partner in the investment of the creative right to the show, in a deal, you get a percentage of that deal, you being the DAO. And if we have that sale, we can then decide at that point as a community, does the DAO stay on as a producer and stick with production cycles? Does the DAO take an exit? And at that point, we're going to be flush with cash. And with all that new, let's call it monetary power, the community still can continue because we have an NFT product and now we have a very large DAO. And with that very large DAO, we can start doing interesting things like investing in more shows or trying to expand our community's reach as a production system. There's a few proposals even out there for that. But the big thing to keep in mind is that we're not going to be insular if a show sells. Very few shows in Hollywood sell or even make it to the stage we're already at. We have a lot of momentum at this point. When the show sells, we're going to be sought out. People are going to want to talk to us, pitch to us, ask us for funding to help launch their idea. This NFT group from the physical side is probably going to move very quickly into being a producer for early stage media, probably animation, especially in the crypto world. I fully expect us to start getting people reaching out on Twitter saying, I see you sold the show. Can you help me sell mine? And what we can do with that DAO's fund is assess if they're worth investing into, if they're worth assisting and guiding and helping. we can start being effectively a capital expenditure system, a venture system for media. And this community evolves from being a lover of Dino Babies in Space to a lover of media NFTs with the capital to actually say, this is a great idea. We want to fund it. We want to support it. And I think that's a really interesting place to evolve into. There's also a proposal live right now about taking a percentage of the DAO and reinvesting in the community to teach them skills in the Hollywood ecosystem. It starts with voice acting and giving people the opportunity to actually take voice acting lessons. And if that proposal passes, there's a world where we reinvest in our own community. By being a Ziggy holder, you can apply for grants to learn skills to enter the entertainment system, which is really hard to get into. And so if we make inroads and connections with the show, we can lever those connections for our community. So the long story is, can you tell us what to expect? We're not sure, but with a lot more money comes a lot more opportunity, and this community is not going anywhere. In fact, it's going to be enhanced with that new income stream.
Great
Matt, any,
answer and
yeah.
great way to explain it.
I've been thinking a lot about how we can evolve with that system. So it's a great question. I feel like it's a paid actor who asked that, but it's not. We really want to evolve in multiple ways, and with an extra million or two, it gives us a lot more authority to do it.
The launchpad proposal and this proposal about the voice acting. I think those are some of the strongest proposals I've seen, and I think those can give the community a big push in and to create another projects and to getting out there, understanding if you're a voice actor and understanding Hollywood, like you said. I think those proposals are really solid ones.
Yeah, really interesting.
And that's why we encourage everyone to submit their proposals. And you never know until you submit it that it turns out to be something huge.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen many groups successfully connect both of those, but it's really interesting.
And we're reaching the 1 hour mark, so I think maybe we just do like a closing statement maybe, and then we can we can call it a day.
Sure. Yeah, this was shorter because it's not because of the recording. Uh, Maybe next time we will figure out a better structure, and so that we're able to run as long as the last part of it isn't important, or
Yeah.
we'll record it on YouTube and just have a longer extended cut. But basically, again, I love these Twitter Spaces because more people can tune in. But we are at a stage where both our physical world application, the TV show, and our NFT world application, and even our community are all racing forward in different directions and still taking on some big challenges. We're expecting February to be very big for Down Babies in Space, both from updates about how we're going to produce and create a show and sell it, updates about our new Series 2 release of Pirates, and updates about our growing partnership and our ecosystem around surrounding us. And we are really excited about where this is going. Dino Babies in Space was never going to stop just with Ziggy and just with raising funds and dipping out. We are reinvesting and we are growing and hiring people to keep this community going and the company expanding. And so I'm looking forward to sharing updates with you as they come. But please understand that anyone who is doubting the longevity of this project by looking at the resale price, understand that this always was a long-term investment. This is always a long-term community project, and we're going to show you some really great results in the next 2 weeks, honestly. I want to give the last words to Matt and Camilo because I've talked mostly today.
I just want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in. I hope these announcements are as exciting to you guys as they feel to us. We have a big week ahead of us, and we're going to be telling you guys more about that in the coming days as well. Some pirate sneak peeks coming up. Even just this morning, Camilla just showed me something that I can't wait to show you guys.
Yeah.
The Kumo artwork. I am so unbelievably happy with how my piece turned out. I think you guys are gonna love it, and hers as well. They, even though they were like created independently, they kind of like feel very thematically linked in a really cool way.
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot of feeling
so
into it. There's a lot
yeah,
of feeling into it.
it's so much fun. I'm really excited for the league game, and just we're gonna do a hangout AMA kind of thing with her. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. So again, everyone, thank you for joining. It's 1 hour of your day, so we appreciate it. And as always, we're excited to share more. And just stay tuned. Join our Discord if you're not in the Discord. Most of the information is there. If you have more questions, please go ask those questions in the channels, and then we'll get to those as well. And yeah, wish everybody has a great day, and see you guys soon.
All right, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.